So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from or watching from. Hi, it's JP. Welcome to the midweek loop. But this one is actually, let's build a looper. So a couple of things to get out of the way first of all. This live stream is sponsored by a friend at DistroKid, which is this little QR code here. DistroKid are a music distribution company. If you've got songs that you want to get out there, then DistroKid can help you. So with this link that's here, it's also that QR code, you can get 7% off your first annual membership with DistroKid. So thank you very much to them for sponsoring this live stream. Now, I've got a couple of things. I've also got an announcement, which is something new that I've not done before. So stick around because I'm going to announce that a little bit later on. And if you've seen from the actual title of this, it's Let's Build a Looper with Loopy Pro. And you're actually listening to me now through Loopy Pro. Say hello in the chat if you're in the chat. You're going to hear a lot of this afternoon. The old chest is having fun with the lurgy. And yeah, it's been a fun week. So Monday we were at the Cavern and doing the Battle of the Buskers. So I didn't win, but a good finalist, so it was good fun. And then yesterday we were at the amazing open mic night, which is the Whiskey Jar, and I actually posted that on YouTube yesterday, or last night, in fact. With just the RC505 Mark II. Don't say MK, say Mark. And yeah, so today we're actually having a look at building your own looper inside Loopy Pro. Now this all came from actually someone who reached out to me and said that he wanted to do looping in a specific way, and we built a sort of like template, as it were. And I don't know whether they're going to be using it or not, but I kind of took that template and just elaborated on it a little bit, just to showcase what's possible. So what we're going to do is I'm going to showcase this to you now, and we'll have a quick look at it if I can find the right camera thing. There we go. So this is my iPad, and this is Loopy Pro, and Loopy Pro is actually, let me just tilt that a little bit so you can see it. This is something that I've built in conjunction with someone else, and the whole point of this is to actually have a verse, chorus, and bridge are based on Loopy Pro. And we want complete control over all the different channels, but also at the same time be able to turn things on and off, mute things, solo things, but then have that flexibility to have this sort of verse, chorus, bridge mode. Or alternatively, what you can do is you can just use one mode and be able to just turn things on and off just like a multi-phrase looper. Now, if this looks a little bit daunting, don't worry, because we're actually going to go right from the very beginning. But before I actually go from the beginning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what this is, what is on here. So there's a little bit of music playing in the background. I am now going to turn that music off. There we go. And let me know, obviously, what we're doing in the chat, how everyone is. Hope you're okay. And this this looper, I've had a couple of different tweaks to it and a couple of different things to it. So starting with, we've got a red track right here. And if you think of this as like mixer strips, as it were. So the red track, you've got an orange, yellow, like a sort of neon lime, then a green, and then etc, etc. So we've actually got 9 tracks in total, and 8 of those tracks from the orange one all the way down are linked, they're grouped together. So excuse me, but the red one isn't, and the red one is predominantly, I hope you can see, basically it says drums. So just bear with me 1 second. There we go. So the way you can actually do this is actually have autonomy over every single loop, but also at the same time you can group loops together. Now we're going to build this together over the coming hour, so you'll end up with something like this. Now the great thing about this is it's a live stream, so you'll be able to watch this back because I'm going to put it up as a replay, and I'm going to add it to the Loopy Pro playlist that I have. I have a playlist all about Loopy Pro, which has the Loopy Pro video manual in, but I'll add it to the playlist as an additional thing, just to showcase this for you and how you can build it. Of course, then how you can take it your own. You can build your own version of this and you can do whatever you want with it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to showcase this for you, and then once we've done that, what we'll do is I will break it down into its little bits. So there we go. This is a multi-phrase looper for Loopy Pro, but also, as you've seen there, we're able to do verse, chorus. I've put this in as verse, chorus, bridge. I hope you can see the wording on that there. But I'm going to showcase how this works. I just selected a couple of different loops. You can see I've got volume controls for each one. I'm going to break down what this does, and then I'm going to get rid of it. And we're going to build it up again from scratch to show you how to build this. So, starting from the top starting from the top left-hand corner, what we've got is we've got play stop. Now, this play stop button will basically play. Now, depending on what you've got running, if I actually put all these in, not that one, not that one, not that one. So I can. And it'll always play from the beginning. It'll always stop as well. It won't actually wait until the end of the loop. It stops immediately. Then, if you think of each one of these as kind of like lines of strips, this is the drums. Then you've got all the different instruments. I've just got instrument 1 to instrument 8. Now, the drums themselves are just loops. And they're just loops that aren't connected to anything. They are connected to the red color. And we'll get into colors in a minute. But they're not connected to these. So you'll notice if we go from verse and I go to chorus, timing it in, you'll notice the drums aren't actually doing anything. I can tap them independently. So this actually becomes really useful because you don't have to redo drums every verse, chorus, and bridge. Each channel strip has a mute, a solo. We've got 3 loops, and then we've got a volume control for that color, for that channel strip. And then each one of these is verse, chorus, and bridge. So if you think of it going across this way, we've got verse, chorus, bridge, apart from the red ones. Underneath each one, as I say, you've got a mute, and you've also got a solo. So we can actually play that again. And I can solo each one out, or I can mute. And when I solo and come back to mute, they stay muted. I can bring them back in. And I can stop them at any point. So you can stop, obviously, by hitting this button here, or if we tap the loop, it'll stop at the end of its revolution. The alternative you can do is you can actually go verse, chorus, bridge, and then over go into here. You can see it's flashing away like crazy because it's preloading the chorus in. And I'll stop that. I've also got one there called bridge, just in case we needed one, which is like a third one, which you could do. And then that way you could actually have like a verse, a chorus, a bridge, depending on the structure of the song. However, above all of that, you can still independently turn them on and off. So if I've got the verse going, for example, if I want to turn this one on, right here, I can do that. And you can see it automatically switches over. So it depends on what you want to do. If I have the verse going, I can tap one of them and it'll turn them all off by the end of the loop. There we go. So this is really cool because I can use those 3 buttons, or I could tap any of them as long as there's a loop on there. If there isn't a loop on there, and I suddenly tap this one, the other ones switch off, and now I'm recording on that loop. So obviously I can still keep these going. The other ones switch off, and now I'm recording on that loop. There we go, we can clear it. Now, if you're not familiar with Loopy Pro, we have a full user guide, which is available, the video manual, which is available on the YouTube channel. So if you want to go to the YouTube channel, go to my channel, go to playlists, and then there's one there which is literally Loopy Pro, and there's about 11, 12, well, there's about 15 videos there now. Some are live, some, but most of them are actually the video manual in conjunction with Loopy Pro themselves, and Michael, who is the creator of Loopy Pro. But this video is a live stream, and it's going to be obviously a replay. So if you're watching this on the replay, then you'll obviously get some real insight because you may have already gone through that playlist and come to this video. Now, there is a dedicated video that I do about making your own looping, like looper, depending on how you want it. This is how I've designed it, and then you've got a couple of different buttons that I've not gone through, and I'm going to go through them now. So these 2 buttons down here is double and half. Sorry, just in the corner, bottom left-hand corner. Just don't see my finger there because the microphone's blocking it, but there we go. These 2 here in the corner is double and half, and what that does is it doubles the length of the clock, or it halves the length of the clock. So when you record into Loopy Pro, if I was to get rid of all this and just start recording, the very first recording dictates how many bars it is. So therefore, if you want to record something that's maybe 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars long, you need to change and go up here and change what it is to 4 bars or 8 bars, or you can hit times or divide, or you can hit plus or minus for a single bar. What I've done is I've taken the times and the divide and I've turned them into buttons. So therefore you don't have to go up to there. I can hit this very quickly. So if I now literally was to play this, let's just play that, because it's the quietest one probably. So you can see it's going 3, 4, done, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, because it's 2 bars. So if I now actually tap this, 2, 3, it's now 1 bar. So that's the half. If I go double, of course it goes back to 2 bars. And if I go double again, it goes to 4 bars. And it just carries on, and I could go all the way up. I think it's something crazy that you can go up to. Let's just do that. There you go. We're currently on 128 bars long, which is just nuts. But I can quickly go down by pressing this, and then we can go half or double, depending on what you need. I'll stop that. Now, the last button is this big, long button here, and this is clear all. Now, I've made a mistake with this at the beginning where I was designing it, which was I tapped it by accident. I went like this to tap on here, and I tapped this, and I cleared the whole lot by accident. So what I've done is this is not actually on a tap. If I tap it, nothing actually happens. What you have to do is you have to hold it down. So if I hold it down for 2 seconds, it's like 1.5 seconds, then all the loops disappear. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to build this and build this on your own. So you can follow along if you're watching now, if you're watching live, if you're watching on the replay. If you're watching live, say hi. There is a chat, and just let me know that you are there. I can see a couple of people are live at the moment. And just watching through, I hope you're all okay, having a nice day. And before we get into obviously building this live, if you've got any questions obviously regarding Loopy Pro, go through the Loopy Pro video manual. That really, really does help. And then we answer quite a lot of the questions that are in there. But then also, if you've got a question right now that you just can't wait to ask, then ask in the chat, and that'll be really, really fine. But before we get going, as I say, basically, we're going to obviously break this looper down. We're going to build it back up from scratch. We're going to put in a brand new session. A couple of little things that I've added in here into the mixer, and I'll show you that later. But there's another thing that I wanted to also talk about, which also is an announcement. I've been asked, do you do a certain thing for looping? Which basically a couple of people have now asked. And they want to actually get me live like this, and they want to actually have a conversation, and that's fine. And I do live streams, no problem at all. What people are aware of as well is that I do one-to-one coaching. But that one-to-one coaching, if you want to book me, you can book me on my website, which is johnpaulmusic.co.uk. So if you want to book me for like live coaching, you can do. That's not a problem. That's that one there, website, there we go. So the QR code's just changed if you're not sure about that. So that'll take you to johnpaulmusic.co.uk. The alternative you can do is obviously, if you do book me, where are you? Just bear with me 1 second. There we go. There we go. That's better. So if you go to johnpaulmusic.co.uk and scroll down, there is a one-to-one consultancy thing that I can do. So we can have a chat one-to-one, and you'll notice for 90 minutes, it's $197. However, what I'm going to plan to do is, you may have seen on social media, if you've been following me on Instagram, you may have seen this. That's right, this. And that's what it looks like. It's a very blurry picture, and it said something's coming soon. It also shows that on my website. So today what I'm doing is I'm announcing what this is. And what this is this. Unblurred. It's going to be the Loop Pedal Workshop. So the Loop Pedal Workshop is actually going to be in November. We're going to do a 3-day live event for the Loop Pedal Workshop. So if you are interested in that, we're going to do that. Dates will be confirmed. We're only just designing it at the moment, and I'm writing some stuff for it. But the Loop Pedal Workshop is going to be in November. It's a 3-day event, and it's going to be 2 hours each day. So we're going to do it like on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for example. All the videos will be available for replay, even if you buy the workshop and don't attend the live videos. And I'm not going to be one of those people who goes, it's only available for like, you can only do the live ones. The live will be live. And then you'll see all these people who do workshops and they go, but you can only watch the videos for like a week. Well, I'm going to leave it up for a month. So you guys can actually play that back, and then you've got full content for an entire month where we go over a couple of things. Now, every single day we're going to have content, but also we're going to have a Q&A at the end. Now, this is not for people who want to learn a specific pedal. If you want to learn specific pedal like the RC600, I've got courses for that. I've got courses about obviously specific pedals. This is a loop pedal workshop about using the pedal in a couple of different ways, learning how to loop itself, but also how you utilize functions that are on every pedal. Things like record, stop, overdub, undo, redo, things like that. So we're going to do a live 3-day event, and then basically you're going to be able to get access to me for 6 hours for $49. So instead of actually paying $197 for 90 minutes and it's just you, then it's going to be a group workshop where you're all going to be able to talk to each other and me. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do that over 3 days, and it's just $49. Now, I haven't set the actual I'm writing this, that's why it's out in November, but I haven't set a checkout page yet so you can buy it. So what I want you to do is, if you are interested in the actual workshop, that QR code down there will take you to a sign up page, and then for those people who sign up to there, I will then email you when we're ready. Okay, so that's the Loop Pedal Workshop. That's the brand new thing that's coming out in November. The Loop Pedal Workshop is going to be a 3-day live event with me, so you guys can actually learn the best ways to use a loop pedal. It doesn't matter what loop pedal it is, as long as it can do looping, and we're going to showcase a couple of cool tricks and a couple of cool things, and also have, as I said, every day have a live Q&A as well. Oh, this cold's making my throat sound really nice and deep. Um, so let's go back over to what we were doing. So we're actually, if you're just joining us, good afternoon. Welcome to John Paul Music UK. My name is JP. I am a loop specialist. I don't know what you call a specialist, expert, artist. I don't know. And we're having a look at Loopy Pro, and what we've built is this. This is an absolute monster of a looper inside Loopy Pro, where we've got independent drums, and we've got verse, chorus, and bridge tied to 8 instruments, whatever those instruments could be. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm actually just demoed it, and what we're now going to do is we're going to showcase how to build this. I want to show you how you can build it. This is the old teach a man to fish moment. If you want this template, email me and I'll send it to you. But what I can do is I'd much rather show you how to build it, and therefore you can then expand on it yourself. You know what everything does because you've built it yourself. So what we'll do is let's go to the top left hand corner, and this is the part where I really hope that the microphone doesn't cut off. So we'll go new project, we'll discard the changes, and you can still hear me, right? There we go. Let's go to new project. Have I erased the original project? I think I have. That's clever of me. Right, tell you what we'll do. Let's go to, yeah. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do it the other way. So what we can do is, if you bear with me 1 second, we're going to delete everything. Here it goes. It's going. It's all going. And it won't let me delete that last row. That's fine. So we just got a load of solos. So what we'll do is I will individually get rid of all this. And then I'm sure I've missed something here where we can actually do that. Let's delete all them. Right, okay. Can you still hear me? Yes, you can. Let me know in the chat if you can still hear me. Right, so we have a completely blank Loopy Pro, as it were. Let me just get this camera refocusing on what we're doing. I think it's because it's all black, it's freaking out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why have we done it that way? That's weird. If you get Loopy Pro, if you just bear with me 1 second, you'll probably see it. Something like that. Okay, I know the colours aren't correct, but it's something like that, okay, when you get a new session. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we can... Let's just zoom that in a little bit there. There we go. So I'm going to show you how we take it from this to what we had before. So the first thing is we're going to have a look at the loops. And now the loops are color-coded, and the colors are actually really important in Loopy Pro because it dictates what's going on in the mixer. The mixer is down here right in the corner. You can just see my thumb there. It's right in the corner there. And if we click on this, it then shows us the mixer. Now I've got more colors on the mixer, and the reason for that is because I've added more colors previously, and that's fine, but I'll show you how to do that later. As you add more loops, you can add more colors. You can add more colors without adding loops. It's totally up to you. So what we're going to do is we had a total of 9 rows of loops. So how we do this is we go into the pencil tool, and right away you've actually presented with this. This is the actual Loopy editor for making your own loops. And we've got a couple of different things at the bottom here. We've got a loop, we've got a donut loop, we've got a one-shot loop, we've got buttons, we've got faders, we've got sliders, all kinds. So for this specific one, what I did was I added in a couple of loops. So we'll actually delete this row. We'll go this way. There we go. So we'll add in, how many have we got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We just need another row. So we'll go 9. And then we're going to add another row up the top here. So we've actually got 3 across, 3 down, as it were, and 9 across. And at the moment, they're all blue. We need to change the colors of them. And the reason you need to change the colors, as I said before, is because the color dictates which signal it's going on the mixer. So what we'll do is we'll do that now. And the way you do that is this little button down here. There's actually 3 little icons at the bottom of the screen, and this one is the paintbrush tool. So with the paintbrush, I'm going to go with red as the first one. I can take orange for the second one. We've got yellow for the third one. We've got lime, and we're going to change them over to lime. We've got green, aqua, lovely, blue, a dark blue, which we've already got, and then we'll use the purple. Now, if you only see a couple of colours here, then what you can do is you can press this plus button at the bottom here and add more colours. So I'll just add a load more colours in, so you can actually see what that looks like. Now, you get to a point where you've added colours in, it starts duplicating those colours. You can go in, you can actually tap them and get those colours and change what that colour is if you really, really want to. But because I've added all those in, it adds all those colours in on the mixer. So it can get really confusing if you've got too many colours. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this, but you can obviously get rid of the ones you don't need. You just hold that colour down and you can press delete. So anything that you're not using, basically, it's very, very small here. I don't know if I can zoom in on this. Let's see if I can zoom in on this a little bit more, where just here you can actually see you've got the colour and a little like grey bar. That means it's in use. So if I go to this one, which doesn't have a grey bar, and hold it down, I can delete it. So we can get rid of the ones we're not using. I hope that makes sense. There we go. So we've got 9 different colours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. And then we can start using this properly. So let me just zoom back out. So there we go. You can see what I'm doing. Right, so 9 different colours, and then that's fine. So now, when we go to the mixer, we've got 9 different colours. So we've got red to purple, there we go. We've got red to purple, which is just here, in between there. Then we've got our input, which is what you can hear right now, the microphone, hello. And then we've got our master output here on the mixer. Now, as I'm moving right now, you can probably hear my chair squeaking a little bit, and if I stop talking, you might hear a little bit of a hiss, depending on, you know, like the input you've got or just the room around you. So one thing I like to do on the mixer is I actually like to add on just a little gate, which I actually have this wonderful AUV3 plugin, which is called Channel Strip, which is this one right here. And if we add Channel Strip in, and then we tap on it, what we can do is we can actually change this threshold. Now, if I turn this on, what's going to happen now is you're not going to hear me. Hello, 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 hello. And the great thing about it is you just be quiet for a sec and you'll just look at the waveform. It's not too bad. Now, I'll bring it a couple of dB up to about there. And then what it's going to do is it's just going to bring out the... it's just going to get rid of any of the sounds, and we can put a compressor on, we can start compressing, we can start EQing a little bit higher, a little bit of the low as well, why not? Actually, no, we'll bring the low down. And then I can say that's on, no problem at all. That's fine. And then we get back here, you can see the channel strip here is there, but I don't want to see that. So I just want it on all the time. I don't need to turn it on and off. So there's this little eye, and I can actually tap the little eye there, and it's got now an eye with a cross through it. So now when we go back to our performance page, it's not there. It's gone. It's gone completely. So we've got our 9 loops, and that's all fine. But the problem is that these 9 loops, basically, if I wanted to turn them on and off, I'd have to tap them all really, really quickly. So I'd have to, they're not connected at all. They're not talking to each other, as it were. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start off by grouping these loops together. Now, I don't want to group, this is, by the way, everything I'm doing today is to emulate what I actually already did. So you don't have to do it this way. This is just the way I'm doing it. I hope that makes sense. So you could group it in a completely different way. You could have them in any order. You could have them vertical. It's up to you. But what I'm doing is I'm going to be grouping these for like a verse, a chorus, and a bridge. And I'm going to be doing that horizontally. You could have it vertically if you wanted. It's up to you. So let's go back. So the way we group these, I don't want to group. What I'm planning in my head is that the red ones are my drums, but I want my drums to carry on regardless of whether I'm in a verse, a chorus, or a bridge. So I want cool. So I want that going on all the time. The other thing as well is I don't want to go into the mixer to have to do this and move this up and down. It's really It's great because you can grab it and you can do it like this, which is great, and get really granular with it. But I don't want to actually go into the mixer page. And then if I want to turn these off, I've got to tap them individually and wait until they get to the end, or double tap them and then they'll stop. I want a faster way to turn them off. So there's a couple of things there straight away. I want to be able to control the volume. I want to be able to turn them off straight away, and then also have this option for maybe soloing them or muting them, whatever I need. So I'm going to need a couple of buttons, and I'm going to need a fader. But before we get to that, what I also need as well is I want to group these together. So these 8 here are going to be the verse. This middle row here is going to be the chorus, and then I'm going to have a third one in case I've got a bridge or I want to break down, something like that. So in order to do this, we have to group them together. So we have to go into the edit again, and this time you'll see there's this button here at the bottom. This adds things on, and you can change the layout. This one is the coloring, and the third one is groups. So you can actually group things together in a couple of different ways. You can actually just drag groups together like this, and then that is group 1. You can actually says group there in the middle. So if I click group, that now says 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. If I do it like this, group that together, that's group 2. And if I do it like this, that's group 3. Surprise, surprise. Now it says drag a selection around groups together. You can tap grouped clips for options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap group 1. Now group 1 gives me all loops will play and stop together. That's great. That's what I want them to do. Or you can do one at a time. So you can actually have it where it goes through one at a time. It'll play one at a time. So when playing one loop, any other playing loop will from the same group will stop. Or loops play independently. Now I don't want to do that. I want it to play all together and stop all together. So if I tap any of them, they'll play, any of them they'll stop, and that's great. But I want to make them mutually exclusive, so I don't want them to play at the same time as my verse and a chorus, which makes sense. So mutually exclusive with, where you got this option here, says playing this group will stop the selected groups and vice versa. Absolutely. And that's what we want. So we want to turn that on. So therefore, if I play group 1, group 2 and 3 will stop. We need to do this with the others. So with group 2, I've got groups 1 and 3 will stop. And then group 3, it doesn't matter where you tap, by the way, because they're all connected now. Then groups 1 and 2 will stop. That's already lit up because I've turned the other 2 on. So straight away, ignore the red one. The red one is not grouped together, and you can't really see it on this live stream. You can't really see it, but there is a very faint like grey haze over these, which you can see when it's live. If I was to, I don't know if I was to... let's see if this works. It might work. We're live right now, so we'll see if this works. Can you see? There we go. How's that? Is that better, by the way? Do you want me to leave it like that? Or is it too bright? You can tell me. I'll leave it like that. But now you can see the group. There's this haze that's around, and it's kind of this on the live stream. It's really accentuated, but there's a haze around each one. I'll give you an example. If I was to ungroup, so if I ungroup these and I ungroup these together, now hopefully you can see a difference. These two are grouped, these two are grouped, these 3 groups, and those are groups, but they are not. Hope that makes sense. So let's ungroup everything. Ungroup. There we go. So if I go like that and go like that again, everything's ungrouped. So it's quite simple, really. You can just grab a load, go group. That's fine. Then we'll just do that one. And then we'll just do that one. So now we'll just say mutually exclusive. Same with these and same with these. So now this bottom section is my verse, if you remember. This middle section is going to be the chorus. And this is going to be the bridge or solo or whatever you want. Now, I've stopped at 3 loops, and I've also given myself 8 instruments or 8 vocals, whatever you want it to be. You can always overdub over a single one, but maybe you want to adjust the volume of like 3 harmonies. So you could actually do that. You'd have to stop at 3. You could go to 4. You could go to 5. It's totally up to you. So we've grouped them. But we haven't grouped our drums because we don't want to group the drums. And if you know Loopy a little bit, what you can do is you can swipe down real quick and you can hit clear. That is really bright, isn't it? Let me just turn that back down. You can't see that saying clear. Let's just turn that back down. So if I swipe it now, can you see that? That's too dark. Let's go with that. Okay. So if I click clear now, that'll clear that off. I hope everyone's following this so far. And of course, if you're watching this in the replay, you can pause, go back and everything else, which is great. And if you are live, and if you've got a burning question regarding grouping, then please ask in the chat and we can actually go through that. So we've got our drums that are not grouped and we've got our groups. I've said that enough. Right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to be able to trigger these. Now, the great thing is if I go dun 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 dun. So I've got those two going. Great. If I go bum 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 now I can just tap any of them and they'll swap. And they'll swap in time as well, which is great. Go up to here. Let's go 2 bars. Let's go back to our verse. So there we go. Now that's great and I can just tap them and that's fine. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to create dedicated buttons to have verse, chorus and bridge. So I can just tap that knowing it's going to jump from one to the other. So I'm going to need a bit more space. So we're going to go back into our editor. We'll go back over to here and we're going to create a bit more space, a new line. Now I can either do this top and bottom. It's totally up to you how you design this. I'm going to put this at the side so I know that it's for there, and I just tap there and it creates a little bit more space, and we're going to create a button. So if I tap a button, it comes up here, and this button is really small. So if I move it around a little bit, you'll see that it comes up with 4 little dots. And then while it's got 4 little dots, you can resize it. So let's resize it to the size of this, and that's fine. Let's put that one there, and let's just add another one. Now, because I've resized it and I add another one, it goes, oh, you want it that size. So I can just add 2 more, and that's great. Now I can recolor these and do whatever I want to them, but I want to specifically say what these do. Hi Ed, how are we doing, UK? Hope you're well. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about Loopy Pro and building our own looper, which is connected together with verse, chorus and bridge, have an independent drum machine on it as well. So we're now creating these buttons, and I'm going to tap on this one, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to name it. So I'm going to call it verse. Now what happens is I need to program this up and go, what happens when I press this? So when I press this, I want you to play a specific track. So we go play, and then we've got the action is toggle. So we can actually change that to just play, so we don't press it and it stops things. And then the target is what we want it to do. Well, I want it to play a specific thing. So I actually don't want it to play a specific color. I want it to play a specific group. So if I say a group, and then this is where it comes up with this tiny little thing here. So we're going to have to say this group 1. So now it's got play group 1, and that's fine. So if I get out of there now, if I just play this, where if I go out of here and go into here, if I press this button, there we go. Now if I press it again, nothing happens because it's only on play. So I'm going to stop that there. So I need to do the same with the others. So then what we're going to do is go into edit. We're going to press on this one. We're going to call this one chorus. And then we're going to go press. And then we're going to go play stop. We're going to change it just to play. And then we're going to say a specific group. And this time it's going to be group 2. Play group 2. That's what that says. Wonderful. That's what we want. So now we've got that there. Let's see if we've got this. We'll just start this off. That works really well. That's great. So the great thing about that is it kind of flashes to say, by the way, I'm about to change. So it's a real good visual thing that you can see their visual cue. And then we're going to do the same with the third one. So I just need to go into the third one, and we're going to call this bridge. You could have it as solo or whatever you wanted. And then we'll go play, toggle to play, and then the target this time is a specific play group, which is the top one, which is play group 3. So now we're playing. Let's go to the chorus. But these are all connected. So if I've got loads of stuff on here, in fact, let's add some stuff. Now, do you see what's happening here? When I'm tapping on this, these two are kicking in. Why? Well, the reason is because basically these two should be mutually exclusive of each other, but they're not. And this is where people fall over. So we've got this where you can see both of them are playing. Let's go to the bridge. Let's go back to the chorus. So what we need to do is we need to go into these and make sure that when we hit this, it doesn't turn on group 1. So let's make sure we've got that right. So let's go into grouping. There we go. So group 1, mutually exclusive, play all loops and stop all loops together. Now this is where you can obviously do this. Playing or stopping any loop will cause other loops from the same group to play or stop, or they can be independent. So this is where you might want to go, do you know what? Be independent. Stay independent, but still be a group, okay? So if you do this, the downside is if you tap an individual loop, then what's going to happen is obviously I could have that one and that one playing together. And they're both playing together. I can play that one as well. Okay, that's fine. But now I can't go through any of these unless I stop something. And I've got it optioned. But then I tap that, these don't work. It's a real problem. So there we go. Oh, sorry, chat was dead, so fully sized. Hi everyone. So let's get over this problem of all these three are now on. What can we do there? Well, we could move these back over to toggle, so we can actually go over to this and go, let's edit this. So we go group play. Instead of just play, we're on toggle. And then we'll go into toggle on that one. Now, it does set itself as toggle by default, but I wanted to show you the difference because now I can turn them off. But it's only remembering to play the one that I had on to begin with. So let's turn that off. Let's turn that one off as well. And then let's go back in and let's go back over to our groups. So groups 1, 2, and 3. So now instead of going play loops independently, I don't want to do that. I do want them to be like that, and I want them to be mutually exclusive. So that's the difference between independent loops and mutually exclusive loops. So So I hope that makes sense. So I've actually got these loops set up in a certain way where I want to be able to record them, and then I can record on top. And of course, everything where you've got the orange, you've got the yellow, everything else, it's all duplicated into the mixer. So, of course, as I play this, I can adjust the volume here. And that's fine. I can drag the volume size out and everything else. But what I really want to do is have volume control on the performance page without having to dive into the mix and press this tiny little button. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to add a load of faders. And we've got faders that are horizontal and vertical. I'm going to go with a vertical one. And I'm going to put it up here somewhere. Let's add another line, and we'll get rid of that other one so it make it a bit easier. So as I add them in, of course, it's just going to find an empty space, and I need 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's fine. So let's do that, and let's just make them a little bit bigger. So we can actually do that and make that bigger. Or what I can do is I can actually just get rid of the others, and now I've actually made that one the right size. In fact, it's not the right size. There we go. I could actually, in fact, what we'll do is we'll make this even bigger so we can have it like that. Nice big fader. So now, I like the fact that it remembers the size. In fact, you know what? I can just do it like that, and then I can just get rid of that one. Delete. There we go. So we've got 9 faders now. Hi, Australian Ray. How are we doing? Mr. Semtex is in, of course. And Ed, how you doing, UK? So if you're just joining us, we are looking at Loopy Pro. We're having a look at building a looper that's got verse, chorus, and bridge, but having drums that are independent, having some volume control, a couple of other things as well. So each of these faders, when you go into them, you can actually move them up and down, which is really, really cool. And if you leave it, it stays where it is, which is great. But these aren't tied to anything right now. So what I need to do is I need to tie them to each one of the colors. And that's real simple. All we do is we give it a tap, and it's like, well, what are we going to do? Well, I can obviously, first of all, I can recolor it if I really want to, which is quite nice. So it's a nice little thing where I give it a color, and now it's a nice visual representation of that color. You don't have to, of course, if you don't want a color on each one, but you can do. And then what I need to do is I can just call it volume. You don't have to call it anything, but if you do call it something, it comes up as a tiny little thing there. I don't even think you can see that. Let's, can you see that? It's a tiny little thing. It just says volume. There we go. So it just says volume on there, so VOL. And then if you give that another tap on the editor, we need to figure out what it's going to do. So first of all, it's a value change. So value change, and the first one is we're going to adjust a parameter. So adjust a parameter, and the parameter by default is volume. And the target, we're actually going to do a specific color, and that color is red. So what that means is it's going to change stuff on the red. Now, the way to prove that is if I've got something on here, so if I go boom, oh, yeah, start the clock. Start the clock, JP, that would be useful. So let's go and change this to 1 bar. There we go. That's probably a bit better. It's probably the wrong BPM. It is, but never mind. It doesn't matter. So I can change the volume here, and you can hear that, but I can double check that when I do this. So look, here, it's changing there. Really, really handy. So I don't have to go into the mixer now because I've got my own little mixer here, which is great. Now I'll clear that. Now, the other 2 buttons that I want, now you can duplicate this obviously for all the other ones, and we can do that in a minute. But the other button I want as well, let's just stop this session. The other thing I want as well is I actually want the buttons of solo and mute. So I want to be able to solo a certain color, and I also want to mute a certain color. You can go way deeper than this. You can actually go into soloing like every individual loop if you wanted to. You could obviously go into muting every individual loop, and you can do soloing and muting. I'll say that again. Soloing and muting here, down here, right in the corner down there. You can got mute and solo. As of course you can't hear me. So you got mute and solo for each one down here. But again, it's tiny little buttons. So I want something a bit bigger, a bit more tactile. So we're going to edit this. We're going to add another row, and I'm going to add 2 buttons. Now, these buttons are small, but they're big enough to be what I want them to be. So I can actually add them down here. So now what I've got is I've got these 2 buttons. I'm going to call this one can be the solo. Let's give it a color. Let's just give it a red color. It doesn't matter. And then we'll do this one, and this one's going to be mute, and this one is going to be yellow. Actually, let's do it the other way around. Mute can be red, and solo can be yellow, because mute is red. Red, stop. That makes sense. So now I've got 2 buttons down here. So I've got solo, and I've got mute. So what I need to do is I need to connect these 2 to this channel strip. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab on solo. I've called it solo, that's fine. So what happens when I press it? Well, what's really clever with Loopy Pro, if I get rid of the keyboard, is it already recognizes some of the most popular things you want to do. So solo is an option. Now I'm going to solo, and what am I going to solo? I'm going to solo a specific color. I'm going to solo red. You can go deeper than that. You could maybe just solo just one clip. And if you notice, if you have a look on here, each clip's got a number. So you've got clip 19, clip 10, clip 1, clip 2, clip 12. So I could actually go into solo, and at the moment it's solo and unsolo, bright red. But I can actually turn around and say, well, what I want you to do is solo and unsolo a specific clip. So I can say a specific clip, and you pick which clip it is, which is really, really clever, and you can go really deep into that. It's cool. I'm going to leave it as, obviously, the whole row, as it were. And same with mute. If I go into mute and press there, then if you have a look here, mute is an option as well. You've got record, adjust parameter, clear clip, merge, multiply. These are all the ones that are obviously popular, but you can search for them, and there's a hell of a lot more. So if you keep going through, you can obviously adjust the color groups straight away. So if I go color group actions, solo. Oh, sorry, it's a mute, isn't it? That was wrong. There we go. Let's get rid of that. This is a mute. So color group actions, mute. There we go. So obviously the target is a specific color. It's red, and there we go. So let's just get rid of all of these. Right, so for our channel strip on channel strip 1, then what we can do is I can go boom, a little bit out, but hey ho, this is live. There you go, just adjusting the camera so you can see it a little bit better. So, I can just tap that. Or we can go. Now it's still playing, I've just muted it. There's our stuff here. So if I go. So you notice it's soloing it, but what it's really doing is, sorry, I'll stop that. If I hit solo, if I hit mute, it's instant. But if I hit solo, it does it in time with the session. So what I want to do is, I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to be soloing in time with the session. I want it to be instant. So instead of doing a color group action, then what we do is we do a clip action solo, and we target it as a specific color, red. And then you go into quantization, and it says use the default settings. Well, I don't want you to. I want you to say none. Now, by saying none, it'll do it instantly. He says. So let's go back in. Solo, unsolo, bright red. Oh, it's on toggle. Yeah, that's fine. Exceptions, quantization. Go. It normally does it. Live. Let's just turn that off a sec. So, solo. Let's do this again. There we go. Right, so on press, we are going to solo. We are going to solo. That's fine. It's on toggle. That's what we want. The target is a specific color, and it's bright red. That's it. And now you're going in as a press. Why are you doing that? This is what happens when you're live. You see, I have all the best intentions. And this button's not behaving how I want it to. So we'll just get rid of it. And we'll add a new one. and it's fine. So let's just add a brand new one in. Let's call that one solo. We're going to give it a yellow color. We're going to hit press, solo, target action, specific color, red. Right. Do that. Go. Oh, I know why it's not working. Right, cool. Whilst I'm figuring out what I've done wrong, this live stream is sponsored. It's sponsored by our friends over at DistroKid. DistroKid is a music distribution company, so if you've got music you want to get out there in the world, then DistroKid can help you. This link, which has also been this QR code the entire time, gives you 7% off your first annual membership with DistroKid. And yes, I am very quickly loading something else up to try and make sure that I've done the right thing. So... Solo on solo. There we go. Yeah, I thought it was. There we go. Obviously, thank you very much to DistroKid for sponsoring this live stream. And now I'm going to go back to my projects. I'm going to go back to the one we're playing with, and you make it completely seamless without any interruption. Right. There we go. Wasn't doing what I told it to either. Everything's falling apart in front of my eyes. Right, so let's go back into this. Solo on solo. Loop. Okay, fade in default. There we go. Okay, no, non. There we go. That's what we want. And then we need to go onto here. So if I now press this, there we go. And that's what we want. So each one muted, each one soloed. It works. Hooray, it works. There we go. Now you'll notice, obviously, I've got a and that's fine. But the thing is, obviously, you can individually turn that off because these three are not connected to anything other than the BPM. They're not connected to all of these going across. So this is our verse, this is our chorus, this is our bridge. So if I was to obviously play this. Now the problem is straight away, of course, is volume and volume control, and this is why we've got these faders up here. So we need to assign these faders over to make sure that you can actually hear it how you want. You want to mix it kind of how you want. I'm just messing with the color. There we go. That's better. It's really dark, but it's not blurring out now. There we go. Is that better? Is it better? You tell me. I've got a question in the chart. I have a Morningstar MC6 Pro. Nice. How would I trigger loops on Loopy Pro with an MC6? Very curious to hear your ideas. Talk about programming them to talk to each other. Talking about programming them to talk to each other. So what you're talking about is obviously programming up the MC6. Now, all you need to do really is you need to obviously have the MC6 Pro and Loopy Pro talking to each other. There's a couple of different ways you can do that. The simplest way is by using a Bluetooth adapter. So something like the Morningstar MC6 obviously is fantastic, but you need something like maybe a WIDI jack or a WIDI master. Probably the WIDI master is probably the easiest one. It's a little Bluetooth adapter made by CME Pro. They are amazing. I like them a lot. And you just connect it up, and then it gives MIDI commands by Bluetooth. And then the Loopy Pro can actually just, of course, it's on an iPad, so Bluetooth's built in. So when you go up to here, what you can do is you can actually go to Bluetooth devices, and when you click on it, I haven't got my WIDI master or WIDI jack or WIDI host connected right now, but if you have, then what you can do is you can connect it, And then all it does is once they're connected and partnered together, then you need to find out this. Well, you don't even need to. You don't even need to tell Loopy the CC numbers. You can do Midi learn. So Midi learn. Once you've done that, Midi learn turns everything white, and then what you do is you go that one. And then what it's doing is it's waiting. It's waiting for you to press a button on the MC6 Pro. That's it. So you can just go, I want to press that button. Now, if you want to go a bit deeper than that, of course, that's when you need the MC6 Pro editor. So if you press one button, 7 things happen at once, and that's fine. But if you've just wanted to use the first 6 buttons as 6 buttons for this, you can. It is that simple. And you just need a connection. Now, if you don't have a MIDI connection, I'm actually going to very gingerly pull this because I wasn't planning on pulling this out. This is the audio interface I'm using, which is the Arturia Minifuse 4. But on the back of the Minifuse, there is MIDI. So you can just need a MIDI cable going to the MC6 Pro. So if you want to wire it in, then your audio interface needs MIDI. Of some kind, and then that way you just need a MIDI cable. Just plug the MIDI cable into the audio interface. It goes through to Loopy. You don't need the Bluetooth. The nice thing about the Bluetooth is you could put that pedal anywhere. If it's on your pedal board and then you don't want to traipse another cable to somewhere else, or you've just got the MC6 Pro but you want to put it on the floor, but you don't want another cable going to that. It just reduces cables. And is it quick enough? Absolutely it is. It's like 4 milliseconds or 6 milliseconds or something like that. MCE Pro, the makers of the WIDI stuff, are currently going through their IWA phase of looking at like Bluetooth audio low latency, like ridiculously low latency. So MIDI learn's dead easy because MIDI learn literally, MIDI learn's sick, absolutely, because you can just you can just go into this and go that one, and it literally just says there listening for event. You press the button and it goes, oh, you mean CC43? Like that's it. It really is that silly. And then you go, right, what do you want it to do? At the moment, it's defaulted to action toggle, as in turn it on and off, play stop. If you don't want it to do that, then what you do is don't press anything while it's like this and just go back to actions. So you can say, well, actually what I want you to do is when I press it, I want you to solo. Now it's waiting for you to press that button. It goes to play stop by default. Okay, so just be aware of that. If you go, well, I pressed it, but it's not doing what I want it to do. Just be aware at the top what it says. So if I go into something like this one, you can see straight away it's on play stop. I don't want it to do play stop. So let's go back to the actions. I want it to mute when I press that button. Well, now it's listening for the event. I hope that makes sense. It is that simple when it comes to MIDI learn. If you've got a keyboard, for example, like if you've got like a big keyboard, like I'm not sponsored by Arturia, but they've sent me some nice things. Thank you very much. But if you've got like the Arturia, or you've got like a Keylab Essentials or a Mark II, or you've got a anything that will press a MIDI button, you can do this really, really well. So I hope that makes sense for you, Meowcat42. And MIDI learn is sick. It is awesome. Of course, marry that with a Morningstar, and you could press one button, and you could say, well, change over to the chorus, or change over to the verse, or change over, or drop loops 4, 6, and 9 out, but keep the others in. So you could really personalize that. Now, in order to do that, you'd need to tell the Morningstar in the Morningstar editor that when you press that button, it's CC this, CC that, CC whatever, and then you've got to do MIDI learn for each one, but it doesn't matter. It works really, really well. So there we go. I hope that helped. Right then, back to our little project, as it were. So just to catch everyone up, if you're not familiar with what we're doing, I was actually talking about, let's just save this, because why not? This is, oh, that's actually the wrong one. It's because, oh no, it's the right one. There we go. What time was that? Yeah, it is FCB2. There we go. So this is basically, oh yeah, I just altered it slightly. So this is a little thing that I set, and I forgot to save it with the clear all, but never mind. Where we've got double and half speeds, we can play things, stop things. We've got individual controls for everything, and we had an individual drum beat there. So what we're doing is we're building it from scratch with this one. I love the way it renames stuff. It's really funny. Giddy Resolution, this is now called. So we've got our beat here, which is independent of the grouping. These have been grouped. If you know how to group stuff, all you do is go down to the pencil tool. We go to the third option here at the bottom there, and we can group stuff. Now, if I just change the camera again, you can see there's like a haze around these and 8, but there isn't one around these 3. I hope that makes sense. And then that way, what you can do is you can actually group stuff. Let's go to 320. There we go. And then what we need to do is obviously just duplicate what we've done here for this. So let's go into this. That one, we're actually going to go into edit. We're going to edit, and groups. We're going to, there we go. Edit this one. We're going to give it a color. We're going to give it an orange color because it's orange. We're going to change the value, parameter, volume, which one, specific color, orange. Done. It's a slightly different orange color. I don't like that. There we go. Let's just go to that orange color. That's it. Yeah, there we go. So now, let's press play on everything. Stop these. There we go. Now, these are all connected. So if I tap on one, these two are still playing at full volume. This one's adjustable. So all I need to now do is go into edit. We do a yellow one. Boop. Yellow. Don't need to give it a name really. Adjust parameter, volume, a specific color, yellow. And we're just carrying on this way round where we go mucho, limo, greeno. Adjust parameter, volume, specific color, lime. This one, let's go green. Adjust parameter, volume, specific color, green. You see where I'm going with this, right? So basically you can just go along and you can just go into a parameter. It sets it as volume by default. And then we just go into the specific color you want to change and it does it. And you can see there, we're getting this lovely color where it's showing you what it's changing. And it's all about sort of visual representation. I know I say that a lot on the channel, but it really is, because if you're able to see what's going on, you're faster at what you're doing. Now there's other things you can do as well. Let's go into purple. I'm amazed I'm able to talk at the same time as doing this. I've probably made a mistake somewhere. There we go. Excuse me. Cool. Fantastic. Awesome. Thanks a lot. Been wanting to replace my RC5 setup on big pedal board with 2 iPads. Just having the morning start on some drum loops. Nice. Well, if you've ever seen any of our live streams and you come into contact with Pierce, Pierce uses Loopy Pro Live. Well, he had a library for that in the Morningstar editor. Hope so. Anyway, do your thing, man. Love these live videos. You're well welcome. Hopefully, yes. The great thing about that's community-based. So if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, me and Meow Cat are talking about Morningstar editor has a library, and you can submit for different pedals. I don't know if they'll actually do that for Loopy Pro, because you could change so many different things with one button press. But it's a very good question. Maybe in the future. So now we've got volume controls. So we've got volume controls for all of our loops, all of our colors. So if we I'll start that again. If we play this track, RC505, anyone? She could really very, very quickly excuse me, very quickly change the volumes, and we'll change the volume for each channel strip. Think of it like a mixing desk, each channel strip there. Now I added the solo and the mute for the red one. We need to obviously then add them on for the rest of them. So if we actually do this now, let's make this a right size, and then we can just go do 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 do. There we go. And then what I can do is I can just get rid of these ones. That's a lot easier. So we can just go, no, don't want that. In fact, we do. We do want some buttons there, which we're going to leave. So I'm going to leave 2 at the bottom, and then we're going to leave 1 at the top. But this one is going to be big. Well, not that big. We'll leave it like that. And then we're going to add on another button. Boop. Shouldn't have got rid of the other one, really, should I? And we're going to add it there. I'm going to drag this all the way down. This one is going to be big. So this is how our thing's going to look. So we've got our verse, our chorus, our bridge, and that's fine. But they're not connected to the red one. The red one's independent. We're going to have solos and mutes for each one of these, and that's fine. These two will explain in a minute, and that one will explain in a minute, and that one will explain in a minute. So let's go into this. So let's go, I'm going to just make all of these yellow. Now, it'll take me a little bit of time to obviously do all of these, but the great thing is, this is live, and you guys are watching. So while I'm doing this, what I would also say as well is if you are looking to migrate over to things like Loopy Pro, we have a playlist that is on the channel. So if you go to my channel, if you're on my channel already, I'm talking about the YouTube channel because we are live streaming on multiple platforms. But if you go to the YouTube channel, go to playlists. There is a playlist for Loopy Pro, and we have the official Loopy Pro video manual with me basically at the helm, and Michael, the creator of Loopy Pro, behind the scenes, just basically going through it right from the beginning. So I wanted to obviously showcase this as an additional thing to obviously showcase what you can do. So if you're into Loopy Pro, or if you want to get into Loopy Pro, it's the fastest way to actually get on there. So there we go. And the other thing that I'm announcing at the moment is I'll do what I did before. You may have seen on my social media, if you follow me on Instagram, at John Paul Music UK, or you had a look on the community page here on the channel, you may have seen this. That's right, this blurry thing. What is this blurry thing? Well, this blurry thing, I said something is coming, and I'm announcing what it is today. So what it is today is this. The Loop Pedal Workshop. If you're looking at loop pedals and you're looking at actually working out how to use your loop pedals, and this would also still work with Loopy Pro with a pedal like the Morningstar, then we're going to be doing a live loop pedal workshop. This is a 3-day workshop with me. The reasons why I've done this is because I've been getting a lot of questions about, can I chat with you? Can I connect with you? I want to talk about pedals and how I can use them. So I thought, well, if you can do, absolutely. And if you go to my website, you can book a 90-minute one-to-one with me. And that 90-minute one-to-one is $197. So what I've decided to do is do a group loop pedal workshop that's going to be live. It's going to be 2 hours a day. The details of the days are going to be obviously released. And if you sign up to it, then it's going to be $49. So you're getting me for 6 hours, and we're going to have a look at obviously lots of different things to do with pedals, lots of different things to do with performance, how you can bring it into your performance, how you can actually use looping for creativity, how you can use it just for obviously figuring things out at home, and then we're going to have live Q&A as well. Now I know we're going to I always do these live streams, and that's fine. But this is specific to loop pedal workshops. What it's not for is it's not for a specific looper. Okay, so we're going to be using different loop pedals throughout the 3 days. This is more about performance base. This is more about your technique. And this obviously means that you guys get the most out of me for the cheapest price, because you're going to get it for $49. Now, This is going to be a live workshop. And then the other thing as well is all those live workshops are going to be recorded. Now, when you do these things where you go on live workshops, then most people go, oh, it's only going to, the live recordings are only going to be there for a week and then I'm going to delete them. Well, what's going to happen is that live workshop is going to be there for a month. So you can buy the Loop Pedal workshop after we've done the live recordings, and you're going to be able to get access to 6 hours worth of content for $49, okay, which I think is fair, and I think also it's a hell of a lot of content that I'm writing at the moment for this workshop. Now the workshop's going to be in November. Dates are to be confirmed, but they will be sequential dates. So there'll be like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, for 2 hours a day. The homework will be set as well, and then you'll be part of that group. You'll be able to talk to each other, but also we'll do full Q&As as much as we can throughout the 3 days. So the Loop Pedal workshop's there. That's the QR code. Now if you scan the QR code, you can't buy it yet. That is a QR code for basically just give me your email address and then I'll email you when the checkout is ready, when you're able to buy it, okay? So I just obviously just wanted to announce it as soon as possible because lots of people are asking me, hey, can I call you? And then, you know, I want to work on doing like stuff with loop pedals. But then this way, you're actually going to be talking to each other, which I think is going to be fun. So we'll see how that goes. But obviously, thank you very much, obviously, for listening to me for a couple of minutes while I explain what that is. So the Loop Pedal Workshop, I'm just announcing today, right now. I've not even changed my website yet. If you go to the website, it just says something is coming. So you guys are the first to hear about it, and it's coming in November. Right then. Let's have a look. Where are we up to? So we've got these buttons. Now I've got 4 buttons left to actually program up on this system. Now I've actually got all these to program up as well, but I'm not going to do that today. You kind of realize how that works. I'll do one more. So let's do the limey one. Let's do this one. So we've got a solo and a mute. So what we can do is we can go into this one. I'm going to go press. We're going to go solo. We're going to go target a specific color, and this color is going to be the lime one. And then go back. Let's just call it solo, so we know what it is. And as you can see there, just change the solo. This one is mute. So if we press mute, there we go. So toggle on and off the mute. The target is a specific color. Again, it's the lime one. Let's go back and call it mute. There we go. So now what we can do is if I play this track, and I can mute it as well. There we go. Now, if you remember at the very beginning, if you joined us at the very beginning, you'll notice that we had a start, stop, all. Now, I can do that here. So why on earth did I do that? The reason is because if I do that, I could press the undo by mistake, okay? So this is going to just be a dedicated button to do that. Again, it's just a bigger button. It's bigger than my finger, this size of button, so it's very, very useful. We've got our verse, our chorus, our bridge, whatever we need, and then this one is going to be a start, stop, all. So if I actually tap on this, we go to press. What we're going to do is we're going to go play stop, and then the target is actually all clips. So if we go to all clips, and then we can do that, no problem at all. Now the quantization, I don't want it to quantize. And this is the reason why. I'm going to leave quantize on. So if I now do this, I haven't given it a color or anything. Ready? It didn't stop instantly, okay? It's now flashing. It's waiting for the end of the loop, okay? I don't want that. So what I want to do is I want to be able to do it as like that instantly. But at the same time, I want to be able to press play and it go back to the very, very beginning real quickly. So let's call this start hyphen stop. I'm just going to give it a completely different color. So let's give it a pink color. And then we're going to go into play stop and we're going to go into quantization. We're not going to use the default settings. We're going to switch this over to none. Okay, so there's no quantization on there whatsoever. So now if we go into it, I can stop that really, really quickly and do it that way. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, and then we've actually got a couple of different things as well. So there's 3 buttons left, these 3 here. This one and this one, if you remember, were the doubling and the halving of the bars. Now, the reason you might want this is because you might actually create something real quick. So if I just actually very quickly just get rid of all these, let's create a new track. Turn all that up. So if I go, okay, 154 beats per minute, that's 1 bar. Now if I want to go, that's 4 bars. So I'm going to have to go up to here, go up to 4, or use the times and do that, and then come back out again. That's actually too long. So I just want a quick button to go times it by so many, okay? So now it's on 4, which is great. You can see that's clicking around there. You can see that very carefully. It's clicking around. I just want to be able to do that and then halve it again, but I have to go back into here, go there, come back out again, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these 2 buttons as a multiply and a divide, okay? So if we go back in, again, we're going to change the colors of them just so we can see that they're different. They're going to be, the pink color is going to be my like control colors, as it were, okay? And then this one, I'm going to actually be the times. So we can just put like an X on there or something, whatever you want to do. And then this one is going to be a divide. So we'll just put a slash on there, and that's divide. That's cool. So I know what that is. So you can see there's like a little X, a little divide, and that's fine. So these are going to be different. So the first one is the X, which basically is times for me. So therefore, what I want it to do is on press, I actually want it to be multiply. Now, it's not multiply clip length, because that's multiplying the clip that you're on. What it is multiplying the actual... Where have you gone? It's multiplying the actual clock, okay? So let's do that. Right, so there we go. It's not clip length. I don't want clip length. No way. I had this before. Where are you? Adjust parameter. Not volume. No, that's color. Ignore that. This is what happens when you go live. Had it all planned out, had it all figured out before, and now I can't find it. Where are you? No, it's multiply. I know it's multiply. Let's save this project just to be sure. And we'll go back to this one. There we go. So, double. Double is the word I'm looking for. I knew I'd add it there. Let's go back to our other one there. Right, okay, so let's go to this one, and it's double. Add action. I think I know why. There we go. Right, let me go back into the other project because I know it's there, and I'm obviously pushed for time. So, in this project that we had set up, if we go into here, you'll see you've got double master length as an option. So you can actually pick this. Let's go there. There we go. So we can actually go set. Oh, it's set master length. That's what it is. I knew it was something. There we go. I hope you're having fun watching me squirm like this on live. master. There it is. So set master length. There we go. So now what you can do is multiply, divide, set or copy. And we've actually got it as ×2. Okay. So once you've got it as ×2, that's fine. The other one, we're going to do the same thing. Set master length. And then we're going to go divide 2. So it's going to be a scale of half. Okay. So now, if you watch carefully, if I just press play on this, if you watch this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 bar. If we tap this, you can see it's going along. And that's gone to 4 bars. If I tap it twice, gone to 1 bar. If I tap it once, up, 2 bars, etc., etc. So therefore, I can go to 4 bars, press play. 1, 2, 3, and go back down. So there we go. So we can move between the bars real quick now because we've got those two there. The last one I want to show you is this big long one, and if you remember from the very beginning, this was clear all loops. Throughout this whole session, what I've been doing has been swiping down each individual loop, but what I want to do is I want a way to clear them, but I don't want to do it by mistake. So what I can do is I can actually set this to be clear all loops. So I'm going to give this a nice big red color, and we're going to go in caps, clear all, exclamation mark. Okay, so now we've got this big clear all there, okay, and if I press it, well, nothing happens yet because I've not set it. So if we give this a click, I'm not going to use a press. If I use a press, I could tap it so quickly and it could just disappear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a long press. So if I go long press and we go clear clip, and then it's like target which clip? All clips. Okay, so we can even, if you go into that, I just kind of was a bit too quick there. You can say, if recording, stop recording, or if recording, clear clips. We just go clear all clips. It's a complete wipe out. You can preserve the clock, which is quite nice. So you can actually say, well, prevent resetting the tempo when clearing the final loop. So you could actually say, keep the tempo, but we're not going to. We're going to just basically have it as clear all. So I'm going to add a couple more things into this. So it's all going, it's all chugging away. I tap this, nothing happens, and that's a good thing, okay? Because of course you don't want it to erase by accident. If I hold it down, gone. It's all gone instantly. The clock's reset, it's all disappeared, it's all gone. Now, you notice obviously if I tap here, I can click save, I can save this, I can export this out as well. And I had obviously, or have, another version of this, which is this one, just a little bit different. And we had a couple of different loops here. So haven't got the drums on this one. We've got the double on the half, the play stop. I haven't got the all clear on this one as well. So if I go back now over to this other project, it's all there. We've got it all there for you as well. Now, if you want a copy of this, I can send it to you. Okay, so if you want a copy of that, I can send it to you. All you need to do is you just need to go to, and I'm trying to find it real super quick. There. Go to my website, which is johnpaulmusic.co.uk, and right at the very, very bottom of the website is Loopy Pro templates. So if you go onto there, put in your email address, and I will send you this template with everything that we've added on, all the different parts, all the different bridges. Of course, the great thing is if you've been watching this for the last hour and a half, then you know how to build it yourself. yourself. And it won't take an hour and a half because I've been talking about all different things. It'll probably take you around about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. So you're more than welcome, obviously, if you do want it. You can follow that. I'll start that again. You can follow me on all the socials, which is at John Paul Music UK, and we've got a couple of different things going on there as well. And also, thank you very much to DistroKid for sponsoring this live stream, of course. So the QR code's been there pretty much the whole time. So if you give that a scan, also the link is in the description box. That gives you 7% off your first annual membership. I just released my track called Stray last week, and they're using DistroKid, and we're going to be releasing a new track next month as well, with my good friend Joe McAdam, with the track called Whiskey Jar, once that is ready, and we're going to be ready soon. But if you are interested in DistroKid, you can actually get an entire year for $22.99, and that QR code or that link gives you 7% off. So give it a scan or give it a look, and you can release as much music as you want for an entire year. Think of the Christmas stuff. Think of the summer tracks for next summer. You could release them, next summer, and you still haven't paid an extra penny, which is great. So this has all been about, obviously, Loopy Pro and creating our own looper, as it were, our multi-phrase looper, sort of channel, verse, chorus, bridge looper with independent controls, independent solos and mutes, being able to adjust a couple of parameters as well. The final thing that I will actually say is you've also got a couple of things you could always add on in the mixer. Now, we've done a video all about this. In fact, we've got an entire playlist of videos all about Loopy Pro. But in the mixer, I've got actually a channel strip, which is just a great plugin by Audio Damage, an AUV3 plugin, which is fab. And that's what I'm using right now. So if I was to turn that off, you probably hear the dog barking in the background there. But if I turn it on, then you won't, which is great. Next door's dog's barking. There's loads of other effects you can get. Have a look at AUV3 on the App Store. There's absolutely loads. But you don't have to put them on the inputs. You can also put them on individual loops. So maybe I can actually want to put a reverb on the drums, but I just want it to be like a small reverb, like a large room, and that's fine. So that's idle at the moment, but as soon as I add something, boom, 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 so we can hear a little bit of reverb there. And you could have different effects on the loops themselves, or you could have it on your input. Now, the difference is if you have it on the input, you're baking it in, okay? So you're not going to be able to change it. This is the difference on things like this, the pedal boards like the RT600 and things like that. This is the difference between track effects and input effects. So right now, this is on the track. So this is a track effect, whereas the channel strip is on the input, it's on the input effect. So therefore, you can obviously have different things on different places. So I just wanted to obviously go over that real quick. I just want to thank everyone for obviously joining us on the live stream this afternoon. I hope it's been helpful. Of course, the way I've built this looper is how I've built it. You could have it any shape you want to. You could have it in lots of different ways. And of course, the great thing with Loopy Pro is if I was to then suddenly turn this round and do that, it will automatically switch over and all the wording goes the right way around, which is really, really nice. But of course, if I keep it that way, there we go. My little stand's gone a little bit wobbly there. There we go. So it depends on how you have it set up. But the nice thing is all the wording changes because, of course, of the accelerometer inside the iPad, which is really, really cool. Right then, so thank you very much for obviously joining us on the live stream, and we will see you next week. And what I'll also be doing is I will be making an announcement, obviously, for this, which is the Loop Pedal Workshop, which is going to be available in November. It's a live workshop, which you can join. I'm going to be doing live workshops on loop pedals for 3 days straight. And if you want to join that, then have a look at that QR code or go to the website and there's a page there that says something's coming. I'm going to change that later on today to be the Loop Pedal Workshop. So if you want to sign up and be on the waiting list, then please obviously scan that QR code or go to my website, and then you can be on the waiting list. And then when the checkout is available and the dates are available, then of course you will get an email regarding that as well. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.